What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back at you with another video, and today we are going to be doing a mock draft. No trades, but this is based essentially off of the records predictions. Yes, this draft order is customized based off of almost every single game being predicted. Now, you guys know what teams haven't been predicted, but if you guys are new, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. If you guys think the ranking is ridiculous, go check out the video to see why. Again, I could always be wrong, and these are not finalized until the last team is done, and then once the rosters are finalized. So feel free to show your comments and show your criticisms everywhere. Again, don't be a dick about it, because being arrogant gets us absolutely nowhere, and I'd love to learn from you guys because it makes the content better for me, and it makes it better for you guys as well. Let's jump right into this, starting off with the number one pick is the Seattle Seahawks. Again, they're in a division with three teams trying to do everything they can to compete, and they simply don't have a quarterback. That's the truth. So if you are sitting in this position, a lot of people would want to go CJ Stroud. My number one quarterback is Bryce Young, but I do know that they do have a second first round pick. And if we want to see where that's at pick 18. So that is not too far away. So for me, when I'm in this position, I'm looking at the quarterbacks. Okay, so I'm looking at it. CJ Stroud, I don't trust him yet. He's not as good as Justin Fields was, and Justin Fields has yet to actually accomplish anything in this league, apart from one preseason game that he did really well. So good for him on that. Again, it's better than nothing. But this team hasn't really developed a quarterback in a hot minute either. So for me, either A, I'm going to use this pick to trade for a quarterback, or two, I want to get the best player available. And the second most valuable position in the entire league is an edge rusher. Will Anderson, Myles Murphy, these two guys are both absolute studs, and both will accomplish whatever goal that you want in mind. So when I'm stuck between two players, I'm going to be going with the better, or the one that I think would be either more popular or the one that will fit the scheme better. I think Will Anderson's he's scheme independent, and he's 245 pounds. He's going to be absolutely unbelievable as an athlete as well. He's pretty much guaranteed the number one pick because, again, there's so many discrepancies between these quarterbacks. If CJ Stroud takes another jump and continues the way the way he ended last season, then he could end up being like that secure number one spot. But again, there are going to be those doubts in the Ohio State offense. It's nothing to deal with just him purely being Ohio State. You know that he's a worse prospect than Justin Fields was. Justin Fields was more athletic, had as big, if not bigger, of an arm, and then won a bit more. So again, it's like, I don't know. I don't really have that type of faith in CJ Stroud. This isn't a CJ Stroud hate show. Again, I'm an Ohio State fan, for Christ's sakes. I just am a realist, and I love good football. So I don't really think CJ Stroud's there yet. He's still worth a first round pick to me. So don't worry, I'm not that much of a hater. Pick number two, though, speaking of Justin Fields, the Bears, man. So I was considering popping up my draft board for you guys so you guys can see it. That's going to be when we start getting into the real mocks. This is the preseason one. We're going to be doing OBS and doing a bunch of overlays for that. That's going to be really fun. I'm excited for that. I know you guys are too. But for this pick, you have to go with the best player available. You're not going QB. Offensive line is not that good in this class, but I mean, honestly, I'd trade out of this spot. But again, you lost Khalil Mack, you lost Akeem Hicks. Myles Murphy is my number one player in this class. Free agency exists. Again, you can fill a lot of holes there, but Myles Murphy is on another level. He graded out as a number one. Will Anderson, number two. But yeah, those guys are they take it to a whole new level, man. Big fan of those two. Pick number three, we have the Falcons, and I am going to politely assume that they're going to wait for Desmond Ridder to show out. Again, there's a lot of quarterbacks in this class, and next year, I mean, we're talking about next year as if like we're sitting in May or April at this time. So the year following, 2024 draft, you have guys like Caleb Williams, Quinn Ewers coming out as well. The need is not immediate. So it's not like, oh shit, we know that there's absolutely nobody coming out in the year following draft. We have to try to get one right now. Not true. So I think going after the BPA might be the best move here. The problem is there's not really that many players here who I think would be BPA. Peter Skoronski, if you didn't give Jake Matthews a contract extension, probably would have been where I went with this pick. But given the value, I'm going to go Jalen Carter. I hate when people go Jalen Carter, That's usually because Miles Murphy's not on the board. So I'm going to go with it. Jalen Carter here. He is a one-of-a-kind interior defensive lineman. He's my number 6 guy in the draft, and I am not a fan of putting defensive linemen very high. Jordan Davis reached number 12 when he was a one-of-one style athlete at his size. Number 6 is huge praise. Big fan of Jalen Carter. Pick number 4, we have the Texans on the board. And I think this could be where you try to take a shot on a QB legitimately. I think that's a smart move. Personally, you have 2 first-round picks, and Cleveland Browns fans are going to be coming for my head for this one, but you're essentially not having Deshaun Watson play. You're having a backup, and then you don't really have enough weapons in the first place. So there's only so much run game as well as defense can really do for you. We'll talk about that in a second. But you have back-to-back picks here. I think one of them should go to the QB position, and I think that going Bryce Young is worth taking a shot. Again, we're not doing trades. Otherwise, I'd be probably trying to shop this pick. But Bryce Young is the guy who I'm going to take a shot on. Again, he's super small. That's his big negative. He doesn't have a super powerful arm, but he's accurate. He processes very well. He's going to make a big impact. And again, if you're talking about arm strength as an issue for getting Bryce Young, Davis Mills is not somebody who has a cannon arm either. So again, if you love Davis Mills and are trying to come after Bryce Young because of his arm strength, you can't really. They're pretty comparable, if not Bryce Young's better in that aspect. So, and he's also been hit quite a few times. So I'm sure that, it's a catch-22. His body probably took a little more wear and tear than you wanted, but at the same time, he's shown that he is resilient in that aspect. So pick number 5 here. We're still back on the board. I honestly think you could try to go after maybe an edge rusher here. You could also try to go after an offensive lineman because I do know Titus Howard, if I'm not mistaken, is coming up on a contract. I also know that, Kendrick Green could be moving to tackle, and Peter Skoronski is sitting here. And I want to say something because I've been notoriously against Peter Skoronski. I saw how he played in week 0. Now, call it overreaction Monday. It's a Wednesday right now, but he put on 20 pounds, and it reminds me a lot of how Charles Cross did it. The problem is Charles Cross wasn't nearly as powerful as I'd want him to be that number 1 tackle. Peter Skoronski is, and he's amazing in the run game. You're going to be living through Dameon Pierce. There's no wide receiver worth it at this point. I think it's a great move, and there's been talks of potentially trading Laramie Tunsil here and there. It's just a great way of maximizing your value. This tackle class is not good, but Peter Skoronski is proving to me so far this season, and we'll track it as time goes on, that he's going to be worth a top 5 pick. The guy's a mauler in the run game, and his anchor improved tremendously, and he's still a great athlete at 315 pounds. So I'm putting my own reputation on the line by saying I'm wrong about him initially. Granted, it's before he put on 20 pounds. So Peter Skoronski, love him. Pick number 6, the Patriots, everybody's going to be losing their shit at this, to be honest, but you think about it. Honestly, this is another team that could use offensive line because Isaiah Wynn's up for a contract, but you don't really have legitimate starting corners anymore. You lost JC Jackson. You don't have an offensive play caller. Essentially, you have Bat Patricia. That's not good. Mac Jones doesn't have weapons. I feel bad for him. Tyquan Thornton's hurt. So legitimately, I feel bad. Somebody who could change that is Jackson Smith-Njigba. I think it's his perfect spot. I have him as a late first round pick, but this team is the one that can make it work. Big fan of JSN in this squad. Pick number 7, the New York Giants are on the board. And this is a team that has a head coach who trained a very, very, very wild quarterback who came in extremely athletic, powerful arm, horrible accuracy, made some really head-scratching decisions, but he worked on his mechanics and just worked with him to make sure that he was the best prospect he could be. Brian Dable's going to do that again, not with CJ Stroud, with Anthony Richardson. I've been thinking about making him my number 1 QB in the class, and I consider taking him here. But I just think that when you look at Anthony Richardson, there is something special to him, and it really can only be truly unlocked by Brian Dable. So this guy is just phenomenal. I'm such a big fan. I'm really rooting for this guy. I think I'm going to be putting him as my QB1, and I'm just going to put my name on it. He might end up biting me in the ass. He started one game, and he got absolutely annihilated versus Georgia. He came in against LSU and lit it up, and that's the tape that I've used to study him. So, and he had some really bad decisions there, but you could just tell it was his young mind. He has such a quick release, such a powerful arm, 6'4", 236. He's like Cam Newton, but like way better. And I'm a fan. I'm such a huge fan of Anthony Richardson. Pick number 8, the Jets. Offensive tackles, a primary need, in my opinion. And Broderick Jones is a beast. I love Broderick Jones. He's also in like my top 15 area. But Anton Harrison's been playing left tackle since he was a true freshman there at OU. And I don't see that changing. So Anton Harrison's going to be coming in the building. Tackle is essentially one of the biggest needs for this team by a long shot. You're still trying to fix the O-line. I think that is a great spot to go because Mekhi Becton just can't stay healthy. And you can't just continue hitching your wagon to somebody who's draining you of cap while he's sitting in the medical room. Pick number 9, the Commanders here. So this is including, I flipped a game for the Commanders. I gave them an extra victory after I did the video. I just don't really have faith in the cohesion, and they do have a tough schedule. I think that they are in a interestingly competitive division, but I honestly think that they can pull out some dubs there. If you're sitting there at pick 9, you have to go QB. I think that's pretty fair, and that's where I'm comfortable taking CJ Stroud. Carson Wentz in that situation is a failure, and that's okay. It is. So CJ Stroud is going to be the man there. You're going to try him out. Pick number 10. I already know I'm getting shredded for the draft order. Pick number 10, the Jaguars are here. I have a lot of faith in them. I have them going 7 and 10 or 8 and 9. Like a lot of these teams ended up around 500. There's very few teams that ended up sucking. So again, I'm pretty sure this is like the 7 and 10 league right here. Just they're good players, or they're good teams that just face better teams. But if you are sitting here and you're the Jaguars, wide receiver is a primary need. You're not in the top 5. Hallelujah. We're going Kayvon Butte here. So yeah, I have him a lot higher than Jackson Smith and Jigba, but it's like, Alex, you took Jackson Smith and Jigba at 6. It was a perfect scheme fit. Again, overall grades don't matter. It's how you fit into a system. Like if Jackson Smith and Jigba is a perfect fit, hell yeah, spend that pick on him. If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers and you have Jackson Smith and Jigba on the board, ain't no way in hell I'm taking him at 6, right? It just doesn't make sense. Regardless, like honestly, he'd probably work for the Steelers, but you guys get what I'm saying. Pick number 11, we have the Cards on the board, and they could use interior offensive line. I'm not going to be going that route. They need cornerbacks desperately. They made a great move for Trevon Mullen. I don't know if they can sign him. I think it is a contract year, but regardless, we are going to be going after a corner here, and I'm pretty sure he's not even in this list, but my number 1 corner is from Texas A&M. It's not Antonio Johnson. It's Jalen Jones. I don't think he fits the system, though. I think Garrett Williams does. I'm in love with Garrett Williams. I think he's an absolute freak. He's a beast. I think we'll lock him in here. He's going to be probably running the 4-3s. He's a safety corner hybrid. I don't think he's actually a safety, but when I watch him play, this guy sticks, and he's just so dynamic. I'm a huge fan of him. Pick number 12, you have the Titans on the board, and I mean, technically, this is another team that I could even see adding in another defensive back. I'm not going to do that. Titans fans are going to be pissed, but honestly, you don't have a good offensive line. You have a developing wide receiver room, and you have a running back that's pretty much the core of your team. So naturally, I want to help you guys out, though. Broderick Jones is here, and I have him as a top 15 player. Offensive line is how you're going to be able to succeed. I know taking a Georgia tackle is very scary. It didn't work out the last time. But to be fair, no one believed in that tackle. We're not going to say his name. It's too much of a pain to you guys. I know. It's too much of a pain to lose out on a first-round pick that quickly. To be fair, you got beat out by the Raiders, who pretty much did it in half the picks. So, you know what? You guys aren't exactly the laughing stock anymore. I digress. Broderick Jones is a stud, and he challenged for number 1 offensive tackle before Peter Skoronski he totally revamped his style. I'm always willing to give players second chances, so that's something that I always love. The Cowboys fans, I swear to God, if you guys come at me, I'm going to lose my shit. You have no left tackle. I hope to God you find one. You do not have any wide receivers at the moment. And you don't know when Michael Gallup's going to be coming back. You don't know if he's going to be the same. That's why you could probably get him for a cheaper contract. It's understandable why you guys would be here at this position. Dax never had to carry the team, and he doesn't have the offensive line that made the Cowboys so good for so long. They're still developing. Give it time. And it's okay to take a momentary pause. Now, the honest answer is I have no idea where the hell to go with this pick. Zero clue. But I'm thinking Paris Johnson because I do like his ability as a tackle and as a guard. And that's where it's like, you know what? Like, hey, if we want to move Tyler Smith to tackle, Paris is going to be a good guard. I have him as a second round pick, but this is such a huge need for this team. Like, I want to look at Quentin Johnston here as a true wide receiver one, but I think offensive line is just so much more of a need right now. We're going to be going with it. Can you guys tell I like offensive line? You won't believe it, but I played offensive line for 7 years. I miss offensive line, but offensive line is something that I'm pretty proud with my evals on. But for the Steelers, O-line's not in the books. I think a corner is, though. And when you look at it, Jalen Jones fits this team perfectly. Of course, he's not in this database. Why? I have no freaking clue. So we're going to get THT here as the replacement. Beats me. But that is going to be Jalen Jones, 6'2", 205 pounds, absolute baller out of Texas A&M. Feels like something the Steelers would do as well. Pick number 15 for the Panthers. So I do believe in the Panthers. They have a very good team. I believe that Baker is not cheeks. He brought the Browns to the playoffs. They had a great team. I know. But this team is actually pretty good too. Edge rusher is certainly something that I want to consider here. And Andre Carter is on the board. And he's just such a freaky athlete. I really do believe in this guy. I'm going to give him a shot here. I think edge is definitely a position you can continue to develop. He usually goes in a wide 9, which for people who don't know, usually edge rushers line up. They're called 5 techs. They line up right outside the tackle. 9s are like way outside. So they come in like this. So he has usually easy angles on the quarterback. But I've seen reps of him at 5 tech. Guy is a beast. 6'7", 260. And I think he'll run in the 4.5s, if not the 4.4s. This guy is a freak. Keep your eyes out on this guy. I used to shit on people for taking him before I legitimately watched him in depth. Holy crap. This guy's good. I think I have him in my top 15. Pick number 16, the Raiders. People are going to lose their shit at this one as well. They're like, oh my God, the Raiders. They're going to be the potential Super Bowl champions. You don't have an offensive line. Like, there's only a certain limit to when Devontae Adams can get open. It might take 2 seconds, but it also might take 2 seconds to get to the quarterback. And I don't feel comfortable with Derek Carr making that play every single damn time. That's just the truth. You have an amazing defense. This is a team that could also use offensive line. So I'm going to look at it. I think Andrew Voorhees would be a very nice compliment. You have nothing on the interior right now, to be honest, except Dylan Parham that I'm really comfortable with. I have Andrew Voorhees as my number 1 offensive lineman in the class overall. Peter Skronsky is probably going to take that torch, so to speak. But I think that he is by far the best guard in the class. You just need to. You have to. It's a necessity at this point. So many teams are crap on their offensive lines. Corner was another position I would consider, but this class is really deep. So be patient. Wait to the second round. There's going to be first-round quality corners there. Eagles. So a lot of people like to go Brian Breesy here. He's not making an appearance in this. I absolutely detest. Okay, I have an early third on him. I detest the type of rank he has on people's boards. He's not good compared to what people think. He's good, but not in that aspect. I think a corner is a very valuable position to go after. Bradbury, if I'm not mistaken, is there for a year. Slay's not getting any younger. And you have Keely Ringo on the board, who is an absolute baller. So realistically, I think you go here. You can also go after Joey Porter to sit for a year as a third. But I'm going to go Keely Ringo here. The guy's really good all around. I think his worst aspect is just his coverage overall is not elite. But the fact is, everything else is amazing. And he's still developing as a coverage corner. I'm like saying it's not good. It's still like above average type of player, even in the NFL. It's NFL quality, but you learn from Darius Slay. You get even better in those categories. He has the highest ceiling so far of the guys who are left on the board. Pick number 18 for the Seahawks. So we went after an edge rusher with pick 1. We still have some quarterbacks here with this pick, including Tyler Van Dyke. Yes. I think that's a great pickup. I'm a little bit, so he's number 12 on my board. So it's not like I'm hating on him. I just don't see any of these teams going QB. I don't. Like, do you see any of these teams? I mean, if they're at pick 15 with Baker, I would stick with Baker. Like, legitimately. If you can get him for a cheap deal, sorry, Siri. I would do that. Pick number 19, the Lions. Yeah, you can see I'm a so I switched a couple games with the Lions, and it actually was with the Cowboys. So technically they could have swapped places, but they technically made the playoffs. I have so much faith in this team. They're a big sleeper team. I think defensive back something I would want to target for them. Antonio Johnson, man, he's a top 10 player on my board. Guy's a freaking stud. Love him to death. Pick number 20, Dolphins fucked it up. So now it's the Vikings. They just got Jalen Reagor. That's fun. But when you're sitting at this position, you could go after a tight end. You can go even just say balls to the wall here. But corner is a position that I have legit concerns over. And I don't know why Brian Branch is in this mix. But I want to go after someone who's a little more sticky in man coverage. This guy's going to be flying up people's boards, especially if Miami has success. Tyreek Stevenson, he's 6 foot, 212 pounds, and he flies. He's going to be in the 4.4s. Guy's sticky in man coverage as well. He's a perfect Minnesota Viking. Don't at me. Pick number 21, we got the Bengals. And I think they're working out OJ Howard right now. I see a future right there. I might not go tight end for them. I still, like, when you look at it, I think a linebacker would not be a bad addition when it's Noah Sewell. So that's where we're going to go here. It's not a need. He's the best linebacker in the class by far, and he's 250 pounds with good coverage skills. It's a guy worth bringing on when you have so many linebackers coming up for contracts soon. So I'm going to stick with that. The Niners pick now with the Miami Dolphins. Now this, I mean, again, you actually had success with Tua. You guys made the playoffs. I think that your team could make a good run. And again, this is not fully indicative of what I think would happen if teams made the playoffs. After the playoff cut, that these are just the teams who made it, and I tried to organize the end of this. You'll see what happens. But with this pick, I would even consider going Quentin Johnston here. Getting a true X boundary receiver would be a very good addition to this team. Running back with Bijan would be awesome, but it doesn't fit a McDaniel type scheme. I think you could even look at potential edge rushers in this category, like Zion Tupuola-Fatui. But we're going to go Quentin Johnston here. I don't think I want another team potentially even in my own conference to have a guy who's just absolutely dominant like that. And honestly, I was thinking about doing that right here with the Lions, but they're back on the board. You'll see something. I actually had the Lions at 8-9 making the playoffs. That's how big the discrepancy is in the NFC. The bar is essentially really low, and then there's a big jump after the first teams that make it in the playoffs. But the Lions are sitting here with the Rams pick. I don't think they're going to make it as deep, to be honest. We've already gone after a defensive back. I think that going after a linebacker wouldn't be a bad choice here. The problem is I don't believe in any of these linebackers. I don't. Trent Simpson has so much potential, but this isn't the team that I think would develop him properly. I don't. So other positions I'd target. Wide receiver here. I think Jordan Addison would be a very fun option. I just don't see him fitting in. Jermaine Burton, I don't really see him fitting in either. So you lost out on your true X wide receiver build with Quentin Johnston. I think that would be a great fit. Running back, I mean, I don't think that's a good move either. Tight end's not a good move. Like, there's not very many good moves anymore for you guys. I would trade out of this spot personally, but we could look at defensive interior and try to go after something like Gervon Dexter. He's a beast. I like him a lot, but man, this is a tough spot. I didn't think about being like this stumped on a pick. Like, it was going so smoothly. We could go another corner here. Honestly, going 2 DBs is not bad in an NFL that kind of requires it. Joey Porter has a lot of potential, gets a lot of penalties, but I might be pulling the trigger on that. Y'all are going to kill me for that. I don't really care if you guys do, but I think guard is a good spot to go. Getting some continual offensive line help is good, and I want to help the run game out. He's not on this list, but his name's Osiris Torrance. He's going to be making it on here. Jared Patterson, kiss my ass. He's not going to make it the list. So Osiris Torrance, he's at Florida, formerly Louisiana. Really good blocker as like in the run game. He's mean. Developing as a pass blocker. I think he's going to be a great addition to this team. I think he's going to be baller. Guy just has that mean streak in him that I think that Dan Campbell's going to love. Pick number 24, the Chiefs are here. And honestly, I could see them even going after another corner. Edge rusher's looking good. Wide receiver, ooh, I could see them having some fun with Jordan Addison up in here. That'd be kind of fun. We're going to go Jordan Addison. They're going to get a weapon. I think they are. It's fun. I love it. Pick number 25, the Packers are here. And when you do look at the guys on the board, you could go after another corner for some depth. You guys don't need it. A lot of teams go safety, or a lot of people go safety here. If that's the case, honestly, I'm going to go Brian Branch. I think his flexibility is phenomenal. It says corner on there. He worked as a slot corner. I like him as a slot safety who can also work as I think you just use him as a Swiss Army knife. Just leave it up to the Packers to use their DBs properly because they do. And Brian Branch is going to flourish for you guys. That is best player available. That guy is a stud. Ask Broshmo, ask me. This guy's a freak. Pick number 26, the Chargers. This team could go after Michael Mayer. That'd be a fun option for this team. A lot of people like to go after Siaki Ika. I'm not going to do that. Honestly, I do like the idea of an interior defensive lineman because this class is not very good. We're going to go Gervon Dexter. He's a defensive interior edge hybrid. He's a freaky athlete as well. I think he has some juice to add to the game. Pick number 27. We have the Colts. And I think wide receiver wouldn't be a bad option for this team. Continue to add weapons. Offensive line is a potential option, but nobody's worth it. They just aren't. So we're not going to do it. We're not. We're going to go wide receiver here. We're going to go Jermaine Burton. Like Paris Campbell's coming out to the end of his deal anyway, and Jermaine Burton's going to be a freak on tape. Pick number 28. We have the Buccaneers. And this is Brady's end. So we're going to go Tanner McKee here. I do have a lot of faith in him. He's one hell of a locker room presence, beat cancer at 16. So again, you already know that guy's going to be a baller. He's going to get an A+ in my book. The Baltimore Ravens, I don't think you guys need much, man. This team is loaded. I'm going to go the linebacker here, and I'm going to go Trenton Simpson because I think this team can develop him. What is this? The Eagles in the Super Bowl? Call me absolutely batshit crazy, and I will agree. However, I'm going to stick my flag in on this one. If Jalen Hurts has enough guts to handle the pressure, this team has a great wide receiver core. Good enough running back for him. They just added LaMichael Pirine today, which I think would be a great number 2. They have an amazing offensive line, great tight end room. Defensive line, probably best in the NFL. Don't at me. In terms of depth / overall. Linebackers, heavily improved. DBs, 2 top guys who deserve to be potentially number 1s. Safety room, they even brought Anthony Harris back, and they have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. There's legitimately almost no weakness on this team, except Jalen Hurts, who's already proven to be a really, really good player. So for that, I think we're going to shake it up a notch with Bijan Robinson to help out with that. Get him over the hump because the Bills are just absolutely too good to exist. They're releasing freaking OJ Howard, for Christ's sakes. They don't really need anything. They don't. I would look at offensive line, but I don't have anybody worth it at this point. Safety? I have nobody, honestly. We might just end up going out tight end here just because, hey, it's the best value on the board, you know? Running back, you could add in somebody to be a true like power back. You could bring in, I mean, Devon Achane wouldn't make sense with Cook there, but Sean Tucker. I'm surprised they don't have, I'm forgetting his name. He's the Illinois back. He's really good. But you know what? We're gonna go tight end here. We're gonna end up taking a Sean Eric Gilbert here to end off the first round. You might as well, right? So let me know what you guys think. It's a crazy mock draft, but we're having some fun here. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys on the far side. Peace.